Happy spring equinox. Hello, hello. Welcome to the Food, Light, Energy, Love podcast. We are broadcasting tonight, live and direct from the Hattie Carthen Community Garden. Today we spent all day in the garden with a group of people welcoming the seasons and doing that inner work, that inner ecology work. How have you been? How have you been? Yay! I'm always really happy when it's time for flowers and when it's time to speak about flowers and joy and innocence. Yay! It's equinox. So let's get literal, friends. What does equinox mean? Equal night and day, a balance of the night, nox, night, equi, middle. It's the spring equinox. What it means is that the days are growing longer and longer. It's a time for growing. So what are some of the themes that are embodied in the season of the spring? I'm here to remind you. It's innocence. It's the children. It's young. So yes, the spring equinox really tells us that at this time, the days are growing longer. The days are now going to be balanced with the nights. Longer days, more light. It's a time for light. It's a time to let newness in. It's a time where we ask ourselves, after doing the inner work all winter, what are some of the new things that we've learned about ourselves since winter? And how do we incorporate that new knowledge in the new season? First of all, before we go all the way in, I just want to do a really small lullaby. I want to send gratitude to all of what exists here for us. Gratitude for the ground that supports us, gratitude for community life, gratitude for clarity of mind, gratitude just to be alive, right? So what we know about spirit is that everything spiritual opens or gets extended out to you when you're in a place of gratitude. So now that we are at the beginning of our spring season, it behooves us to always find gratitude. What are the lessons that were learned from the dark season that just passed? What are you grateful now for? What will you do now with that? What will you do with all of the information you found out about yourself while you took the time, hopefully, to be in touch with yourself, to slow down, to be grounded, and to be one with yourself? All of that comes up now. Today in the garden, we did a beautiful inner child journey and celebration and fortification. We went in to make sure that our inner gardens were growing correctly and just to tend to take care of ourselves. We talked about empowerment today, and we talked about empowerment being principles, technologies, processes that help us to move into our sovereign self. That's what we call empowerment. Things that we require to be powerful again. So some of the things that we talked about there as empowerment was community gatherings, was deep sharing, was talking circles, was nurturing and caring, was cooking our foods again, was listening to the earth, was all of those things. And so, as the green around emerges from our mother, this great earth, what is emerging inside of you? We're also at the juncture of Aries. It's an Aries new moon. We are moving rapidly towards the sense of courage, of standing up for the things that are valuable to you, of leadership, but a different type of leadership, not egotistical leadership this time, but a leadership that is based on compassion, caring, nurturing, and understanding one another, understanding that all of us together is the diversity that the earth requires to be well. Today we did a lot on diversity also. Diversity as resilience, diversity as being, as just representing the allowance of just being. We talked a lot about that today. So this season here and this time where we are going into the Aries moon. Aries is the ego itself when represented in an astrological sense. What are we being called to do now? It's definitely not be more egotistical. We're being called into a different way of being, different ways of leading. And then I want to remind you that we're also going towards that shift where we're moving out of illusions, violence, war, the industrial age per se, when it was all about machines and not feeling. It was all about the programs that told us that we should just do more to be more. We were like looking at like unending growth as progress. And now the new time of Aquarius is calling us into understanding that we are all connected. Aquarius allows so much potential and possibility. This is also a time where we're asked to be less competitive with each other as we move towards the age of cooperation. If you weren't cooperating before, you'll need to start thinking about how you enter into communal life, about how you assert your power without threatening the whole. There's so much. But I bursted into your world this afternoon with all these flowers just to remind you that everything you see outside also pertains to inside. Take care of yourself. This is the in time. Entrainment, intuition, all of the inner technologies are what's going to be given the most life and possibility for us now on the earth. I also want to tell you that we don't have to go into an ultimate disaster to change. That's the silly way of making change. where you've got to be destroyed before you can make a change. And some of us operate like that. We know that things no longer serve us. We know, but we continue to live in the lie and continue to go through the motions of like a million reasons why you have to remain in a situation that is desperately calling you to change. So I'm here to remind you that this change is not an intellectual one. It's not going to be for the smartest of us. That change is going to be for those of us who are able to be flexible, adapt, and evolve in new ways. So the message today for you, the main message that I could feel on the surface of my consciousness is the time for revenge and war has gone. If we're still doing wars with one another, there's something really wrong. We already know that to live in peace on the earth, it doesn't mean that we have to have wars and oppression. It does not mean that. We already know. We already know that we are able to accomplish peace, conflict resolution by using high vibrational ways of being in community with one another. We're able to negotiate. We're able to learn from one another. We're able to understand our diversity as resilience itself. So then, if we understand that, we're not asking everyone to be the same. We're asking that everyone be allowed the divine expression of who they are naturally. So I burst into your night, this sunset, reminding you to breathe. Breathing is not something fickle. It's not something superficial. We find in so many cultures that this word breath is not even breath in the way that we think of it. This word breath equates to spirit, the invisible, mystery, the feminine, Akash, Shekinah. She's known by so many names, the spirit. We are now at the moment of our revolution where cooperating, co-pollinating, co-everything, synergistic living is how we are going to be asked. Not co-option, synergistic living, meaning honoring everyone's traditions, everyone's right to be, humanizing everyone. Not making your decisions just based on profitability. That's the old way. So we're always taught, well, does it make sense? Well, does it pay? Does it make sense? Well, does it pay you? Well, it has to make sense in more than money now, because we're going to be bartering with each other and exchanging things. It's going to be a free exchange world where we're exchanging and sharing our gifts in community. So then it has to be more than does it pay. Balance is also coming into my view. Anytime I think of equinox, I'm thinking balance. Equa, like it tells you equinox, balance. What is out of balance now? What is causing you not to be light like a feather? The principle of Ma'at says you will leave this world light like a feather. You will not take your things. So what is it that is needed for you to walk around this earth light like a feather, not shackled by karma, revenge, punishment, criminality. No, punitivism is not our way forward. I ask you to lean down on the greens. All of the bitters are coming up out of the earth right now. Today we walked around and we observed what was emerging from the earth. We gathered out of the earth today wild onions. Those are there for us. We gathered chickweed. We gathered purple nettles. We gathered so much baby kales. That's all emerging. Take a look at what's happening in your landscape. Lean down on the bitters. The bitters will help you to detox the liver and the kidneys. Those are where we store all the anger. So everything that you've had to put up with over the winter, and Goddess knows, this is going to be our 4th year of winter. The whole pandemic was winter. Anytime you're locked down, you're in a winter. Anytime your relationship to the earth is compromised, you're having a winter. We've been in a winter for so long. They tell us it's okay to take our masks off now and go and be free again. But we were free all along. So I want you to find that place on the inside. I want you to check in. Do some journaling, do some writing now. Writing means letting the light in. Writing is an act of manifesting. Photography means capturing the invisibility. All of these names and words that we've named our world, sometimes they don't let us get the real understanding of what they mean and what we should be doing. Journal. When's the last time you stopped humming? You know, everybody's got that little, even when we eat good food, there's like a song coming, like, right? You know what that is? Everybody has a song like, Everybody's got a different way, a different energy that rises out of them, that longs to be acknowledged. So when the things become like monotone, like nothing mattered anymore, go back, think a little. When did you stop singing along to songs or even listening? When did you stop looking at yourself and smiling with yourself as an act of acknowledging your own growth? Some of us might need mirroring rituals right now so that you can fall in love with yourself again. I don't know exactly what your needs are tonight, but wherever my voice touches you, if it resonates, resonate means ring. When we use language or actions, it either goes down, well, it's like digestion in a way. It's like spiritual digestion. It's either like, yeah, I really know what she's saying, or no, that doesn't sound familiar at all. So you want to go back into your smallest self. It's a time for seed. Seed, this little thing, holds the potential and the template for this large tree. So you want to go back into your seed self, into your inner self, and you want to check in. Do you have a lot of thoughts running? Whose thoughts are those? Are those even your thoughts? Is your mother still speaking? Is your mother still the authority in your mind? Is your father still dominating you in your mind? What are the conversations that are happening that you are trying to suppress and hold down so that you could look okay, so that you could look cool, and so you could look like you're cool. I'm asking you to go there with yourself. See what that part of you wants to tell you. Maybe there's a part of you that really misses your full self. You want to check in. Check in with the oldest part of you, which is the inner child. The part of you that has seen every single unkind act from the day you were born. You want to check in. Don't abandon yourself. Check in. Go back. Find something that reminds you of play. Today we played with bubbles and did things like skip and jump and do a lot of things that were not necessarily adult things today. They were a little juvenile. It's a time for your inner child. It's a time to dance. Put on some flowers. Put on your headband of flowers. Like, stick a flower in your ear. Like, go further than you would have gone yesterday when you did not contact this part of you. And then I want to remind you that the flowers are edible. Don't wait until Whole Foods bring them before you can acknowledge. Flowers are like chalices. They're open vessels that are capturing energy from the earth, from the sun. Depending on the type of chalice, they're tuning in to different things. So for 20 years, I've been talking to everyone about eating flowers, about using flower tinctures, flower teas. Maybe you may want to lay on a bed of flowers tonight. You may want to put roses on your bed tonight and just sleep so that you could feel a different type of love. It's not just about romantic love. There's so many ways that we access love on the earth that is beyond romance, right? You may want to think about that. How could you show yourself some love? Maybe it's just eating a good old-fashioned meal that you cooked from scratch. That's not fickle, that's big. The fact that you could slow down is a privilege. The fact that you're not on a schedule that's so tight that you can't make it anywhere, that you show up and keep giving excuses to people about your job. Sometimes I meet people who, to me, they're really talking to me about their job for the last 5 years, because every time we try to talk about anything else, it always turns out to be, oh, I wish I could come, but my job and my boss and bless your heart. But it's time. It's time for healing. And that's the message I bring to you today. We will add on a sound journey and bring you a larger broadcast, but I wanted to stay outside in the weather at the sunset and just to remind you to take care of yourself, that there isn't in a garden. Just like you have trees outside, the trees are here too. Your veins, you know, the arteries, all of those, it's the same design, but on the inside. So please, immerse yourself in water. Dance for hours. Dance like nobody's watching. Shake your hips. Move out, you know, some of the uric acid. Uric acid gets trapped, and uric acid, while we're talking about it, is caused by fear. When we are living in constant fear, the body generates chemicals. When we're being terrorized, your body generates various chemicals. So I want to tell you to make sure that you are exposing yourself to beautiful things. We know that life is hard. It seems like everywhere we turn, there's a war going on. But I'm here to tell you that in the middle of the war, we're sitting right here with the flowers. We prioritized, we took the time. This was important that we share this way with you. So we took the time, and we're asking you to take time for yourself. If you're looking for a simple medicine to override like negative thought flows, every time you have a negative thought flow, you capture it, you sit alongside of it, and then you replace it with a positive thought flow. And then after a while, a positive thought flow will override your negative thought flow that you're having. You may want to try tapping. Tapping, emotional freedom techniques, where you tap along the points of your body to speak with your body. It's a form of kinesiology and healing. You may want to try some of that. You may just want to dance to grounded music for hours, because that too is healing. You may want to share joy by connecting with a younger person. You may want to look them in the eye and greet them and compliment them, and letting them know that we adults also see them. Sometimes I make it my job to just greet all of the children that walk onto the farm. No matter what you do, we are here to tell you, take care of the inner garden. The inner garden decides what kind of quality you will have in life, who your friends will be even, how your abundance will take place. It all has to do with hair. Trust yourself, hug yourself, touch your skin gently. You may want to apply lotions all over the body. Maybe it's a luxurious act that brings you into the acknowledgement of your sovereign self. And so, as the sun sets tonight, I take my voice down into the earth. I'm going to give you just a very small mantra today. Just a very small mantra. And when you sound this mantra out, it brings equilibrium within the bodily systems. And that is the Om. The Om, you can sound it anytime you're in a place of discomfort. And the Om is expansive. It creates more openings for you. So whenever you're feeling rattled, you may just want to do I leave you with bird songs tonight. I leave you with the sunset from Brooklyn. I leave you with the ancestors, with hope, potential, possibility for newness. And I thank you for being with us tonight. Let's take a moment to listen to the birds. Yes, we have them in Brooklyn. is happening on the earth. New languages are coming. New ways for art. New ways of understanding. New ways of healing. Let's greet this new way of love, compassion, mutuality, reciprocity, balance, openness. Happy spring, community.